Welcome to the Freedom Chronicles.
Definitely an antisocial type.
Only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger.
Hi, perhaps you recognize me. It's your favorite president.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
We got a loudspeaker here, and when we go into battle, we play music very loud.
With a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Freedom Chronicles. I'm your host, Mike Imbasciani, and with us, as always, Mr. Ken Lovejoy. Ken, how are you, sir?
Good.
Very good, very
in
good.
the office
Yes, we're happy.
today.
Yes, he's in the office, but I am still on vacation. And while Ken is there in the office in Southwest Florida, I am broadcasting from an undisclosed location in a bunker in the mountains near a lake in the lovely state of Georgia. It's beautiful out here, and it's been quite an experience. But this traveling bunker is brought to you by Brian.
But other than that, yeah.
Yes, and we will dive into all of that. But this traveling bunker is brought to you by Brian Chapman State Farm right there in Southwest Florida. And like a good neighbor, Brian Chapman State Farm is there for all of the insurance needs that you have for your very own bunker in the Florida Flat Mountains or traveling bunker. So give us office a call at 941-625-9998 or visit the office at 2040 Tamiami Trail in Port Charlotte. Ken, how are things going there in Southwest Florida? What's new and exciting? Is it raining every day at 3 o'clock?
No, actually, this week's been pretty good. Haven't really had a whole lot of rain so far.
Good.
I still haven't figured out. Somebody mowed my lawn Sunday.
That's right.
I still don't know who did it. It was either my next door neighbor or the lawn guy. The lawn guy at the end of the block hasn't been giving me the stink eye. Like, why didn't I thank him? So I think it was my next door neighbors.
What were you letting it get
Either
a little too
way.
high? Were those weeds with the Y?
No, I was going to
out?
mow it last Monday, but I guess they mowed their lawn and thought, what the heck? I don't know why, but
Nice neighbors still exist.
yeah, they do.
Very good. And I've been noticing that. So we have a lot that we are going to discuss, from the debate last night to the Tucker and Trump interview to the plane crash in Russia and some other things. But folks, you can get loud locally. Get loud locally. Get yourself a shirt. Use the link in the description down below and go get yourself a Freedom Cow shirt. Be a Freedom Cow and get loud locally in your area and be a conversation starter and be a good neighbor, like Ken's good neighbor. And I'm still on vacation here, and we left. When did we leave? We left on Sunday. Sunday morning, we left Arizona at 8:15 Pacific time, and we drove through Oklahoma, which was fun. And I still don't know what Oklahoma looks like because it was night the entire time I drove through it. So one of these days, I'll have to go and actually experience Oklahoma. But then drove through Arkansas, and after seeing Asa Hutchinson there last night and seeing what an alien he looks like, I have no desire to go back to Arkansas and see what the rest of the people in Arkansas look like. So
Yeah, it's a weird state.
yeah. People are saying, watch you don't run into Bill Clinton.
No, he's not there, is he?
I doubt it. Just remnants.
I think they're up in Chappaqua, New York.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it's fun, and it's been a quite a fun vacation all in all, spending the time in Arizona, being out in Texas on Chad Prather's show, and spent a little time in New Mexico. And now we're here in Georgia at a friend's cabin on a beautiful lake in northern Georgia. And, you know, I can't wait to see Trump's mugshot tonight in Fulton County. And getting into the debate, were you surprised? Did you see the moment when they did the little teaser before they went to commercial of, here's a live look at Fulton County Jail where Trump is going to be arraigned? Like, come on. I know.
Yeah, Fox. I mean, there's a reason I quit watching them in 2016, and you saw it last night. I don't,
Yeah.
they're totally anti-Trump. As was the whole raise your hand if you'll help Trump. The deal if he's elected. Okay.
Well, but that's a good show as well, because Vivek is the only one who raised his hand so fast and was the
Quickly,
first one to
yeah,
say,
went
"Yes,
right up.
I will fund him."
Old bobblehead
And then
DeSantis is.
he's looking around, and then he goes, "Okay." And that, I mean, optics are important, and that was a bad optic for DeSantis.
Well, I just thought it was a night full of bad optics. Really, you know how I feel. Vivek is a little bit different than the rest of the people on stage, but only on a few issues. The rest of them have the same identical policy positions. They're all in for war forever in
Oh yeah,
Ukraine,
except Vivek.
and I've got nothing. None of them are. Even Vivek, he's too new. There's not one person on that stage that's VP material, in my opinion.
You think? Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
because
then
they're all
Kerry,
established. They're doing what the donors tell them to do. They're all
yeah,
establishment twinks. Their policies are no different from each other at all. It was, okay, which personality do you want doling out the corporate,
yeah.
the legislation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And that's why, I mean, of all the people on the stage there, Vivek would be the only person I would want as VP. You really think a Christie VP? Come on. Or Pence again, and Pence
No,
just
Christie.
continues to dig his own grave.
Yeah, White Lizzo has burned every bridge, in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
if you like him, you're really not a Republican. What does the guy offer? Nothing. Zero.
Right.
Zilch. I
Yeah.
mean, again, he's a
Well,
fat frickin' slob. Doesn't have enough self-respect or
who scared
self-control
all
to
the
take
starving
care of
children?
himself.
He scared all the starving children in Ukraine when he went over there.
In Ukraine. the big Americans eating our rations.
Oh man! But some of the interesting things, I made some notes from the debate, and we can go through some of these. These are the members who have chosen to be here. That was the first little dig at Trump before they even said his name. But something, an interesting choice of words. I believe it was Brett that said it was the likely presidential nominee Biden. Like, do they not?
Well,
think
I mean,
he's
when
even
you look at it, yeah, they're preventing RFK or Marianne Williamson
Yeah.
from really getting any exposure. RFK's, where's he at? 20%, 22%, which hopefully he'll get more. And to me, that I don't think it matters the exposure. I think that's how psychotic the base Democrat voters have become, that they approve of what sock puppet Joe's doing, and RFK can't seem, now either the polls are being manipulated, gee, go figure, or that's a representation of the base voter who just don't want an RFK, an old school Republican anymore. They want the commie.
Right, which is what they are. And even some of these listening to these Republicans in these situations, like, why is a Young American Foundation having a young person ask a question about climate change? Why?
Because it's rigged. The whole thing was choreographed. That Fox even allowed that question. I mean, really? Seriously?
Right.
It's
And
not
that
pertinent
when
at
that
all.
foundation has a chance to ask one question, that's the question they ask? Come on.
And that should tell you exactly what the YAF's all about.
Yes. I found it
mean,
interesting
really?
that Richmond over Richmond there had the first question,
Richmond,
essentially.
north of Richmond?
North of Richmond, yes, sorry, thank you. Richmond, north of Richmond. I find it interesting that basically related to his song is the first question in the debate.
I know.
Yeah.
Why? I
And
mean,
good,
seriously.
we applaud him for turning down an $8 million deal, and he released another song that I think is even better than that. I listened to that the other day. Jack Posobiec tweeted that out
Yeah,
as well.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
But turn down the money, because then they screw him over. Now it's all a bunch of studio musicians, and it's not even him anymore. He's doing what he does. I love the place where he records, because that natural,
oh yeah, the
just
sound
the
is
natural
perfect.
sound of it.
Yep.
Reverbing through the trees. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds great.
Oh, yeah.
So keep it up. And the guy's making $40,000 a gig now. So,
Good for him. All right.
Forget the record companies, man.
Yeah, exactly. One of the other interesting that happened, I thought DeSantis coming in with the "you're fired" line, like all of that was a little too rehearsed.
And we're sleeping, we're out. It was, everything was rehearsed. Every line, you could tell. You know why? Because of the way he barked it out.
Yeah, it's like they told him, like, you
his head.
gotta have a little more energy. Gotta have a little more energy. Overall, I thought DeSantis's answers were pretty good. Overall,
Not bad, no.
They were good answers. Yeah,
they weren't bad answers, but again, they were totally rehearsed, prepared, scripted answers.
Yes.
And
the pushing,
and again,
pushing so hard that the state of Florida being open during COVID, we still locked down, Ron. Tons of people still lost their jobs, still lost their businesses.
I played that 2 minutes worth of fact checking that CNN did against DeSantis, and it's kind of hard for DeSantis to keep coming back. And we all lived it here in Florida, so it's kind of hard for DeSantis to say from the beginning, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was from September of 20 on, we started to, but to suggest that from the beginning he handled COVID and Florida was free, that's simply not true.
Yeah, and even the CNN video saying, "Oh well, Florida, they closed and then they reopened at 50%." No, it wasn't immediately 50%. It was the 25% occupancy, and that was a true killer.
Then 50, then 75, and then because we were living that at Vasani.
Yeah, 25%. A venue cannot operate. A venue cannot employ people and tell them, well, only you two can work these days, and these two can work these days, and and pretend you'll make money and not have to go and look for another job. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And then finally it hit 50, and then it was 50 for quite a while. And then they were saying, well, is he going to go to 75? Or is he going to do the jump right to 100? And he chickened out and did the 75%. And people were laughing at it. And 2 days later,
it was 2 days. Yeah. No, sorry. Look, and even as good as you were hoping, a lot of people were hoping that DeSantis was going to do last night, he really didn't. I mean, he was top three, sure. I think Vivek won. I don't think DeSantis maybe second place. And like her or not, and I don't like her, but Nikki Haley had a strong performance last night.
She did. And it was interesting because you read on the radio this morning the timer of who had the most speaking time. And of course, Pence got in there with 12 but are we surprised? I did
Pence at 12 minutes 26 seconds.
Yeah.
Ramaswamy came in second. He spoke 11 minutes 38 seconds. White Lizzo 11 minutes 37 seconds. DeSantis in the middle of the pack at 10 minutes 1 second, and then Haley 8:20, Tim Scott 7:57, Tim Burgum 7:50, and Aisha Hush 7 minutes 24 seconds.
So conspiracy theory.
And again, I would have to agree. What?
Did Burgum trip down? Conspiracy theory. Did Burgum trip down the stairs on purpose so that he'd get in the news just before the debate, so people knew who he was before he came out?
Because he was down the stairs? Is that what it was? A trip down the stairs? I heard he got hurt in some exercise thing.
maybe it was an exercise thing. No, I don't know how he hurt it, but his leg was hurt and he was on crutches. And I'm like,
Well,
did he
yeah,
do that
because
just
they were suggesting earlier that he wasn't going to make it because of his
right?
injury, but he wound up showing up. But yeah, sympathy or not, I mean, Burgum's comes across like a nice guy, but again, who the hell is he? Nobody knows it. Nobody knows this guy. And quite honestly, him and Asa Hutchinson didn't need to be there.
No.
I'm sorry. So I think it doesn't matter how much Pence spoke. The polling data is clear. He doesn't have a shot, and he needs to get
nobody likes
out.
him.
But they won't because they're trying to drain money from Trump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you look at I counted how many times each person went over their time with their little buzzer, little ding ding, and Pence, of course, had the most. He had 8. Christie had 6. Actually, Burgum went overtime 5 times.
Really?
Haley, Scott, and Vivek all went over 3, and then DeSantis and Asa went over 2. But
yeah, I don't. It was all for illusion, the illusion of choice. These are all corporate picked, these are acceptable candidates for the Republican Party. That Mr. Trump, he's just outside the norm.
What did Vivek say? I am the only person not bought and paid for on this stage, and that got him a huge applause and got Pence and Haley all riled up. But something interesting that I pointed out to you this morning on the radio was Vivek was getting piled on by Haley and Pence and Christie, more so Pence and Christie. And DeSantis stayed out of it. And they did, and those people also did not go after DeSantis like I thought they were going to, because DeSantis is still above them.
Well,
but
he's
what's
above them, but he's starting to crater. And he's the chosen. These guys can pretend that they're actually running for president, but they're not, because the whole party apparatus, from RNC, the GOP, the corporate donations, everything has been focused on DeSantis. All these other also-rans are just vying for a cabinet position or VP. And
but is it then,
Christie? Seriously, Christie isn't even a serious candidate. Again, this guy's he's a paid shill just to be there to bash Trump.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Well, and Vivek said that too, which was very good that he did that. But with DeSantis not jumping in, that's why he's middle of the pack of not that much speaking time with Vivek above him. With Vivek having to therefore defend himself, you get more chances to speak and actually defend yourself and get people to, turn to you. And it just makes Pence look bad. It makes Christie look bad. But there were some discussions, full-on talking points that, of course, Burgum didn't get in on and Scott didn't get in on, but also that DeSantis didn't get in on because he wasn't jumping in like I thought he would. Because when he was asked a direct question, he was
not
tough.
An assertive guy.
He was assertive, right? That shows to me that the assertiveness was only when you're being talked to and you have your response. You're going to be assertive, you're going to be tough, and you're going to look in the camera, you're going to do that. But if anybody else is getting yelled at or debating with each other, you're going to sit back and not get involved, because the less people know about how you feel about that issue that everybody else is arguing about, the better. That's how I felt about it, because every time DeSantis was asked a question, he went back to what he did as governor.
I found him to me, he looked better than he did in the gubernatorial debate against Charlene Christ, but he still looked uncomfortable on stage. He looked pasty, a little like he sweat. Like that powder on his face is soaking up a lot of sweat, and it ain't working that well. And he just it's not his thing. It's not who he is. He's not Mr. Master Orator Debater. He's just not. And trying to pretend that he is doesn't make him so. And I thought he did okay. He did better than I thought. But by far and large, it was Vivek Ramaswamy's win. And that's what most of the public seems to agree with. You had in the Drudge poll with, well, at the time, over 88,000 people voting on it. Ramaswamy won. Nikki Haley came in second, and Christie came in third. They had DeSantis in fourth place.
Wow. And see, that's even surprising for me. But again, I think it's because he did not assert himself in the debate discussions that were happening and not try to push forward with that. He and Vivek did not go back and forth like DeSantis and Pence did, or Vivek and Christie did.
Yeah, but there's also a lot of people out there that just don't like DeSantis already. And
I know, but that was his chance to change that. That's the whole point.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, but it's not happening. And since we're speaking about that, we also have to speak about the Donald and Tucker, which is now, what was it, last night when I sent it to you, an hour after it went up? It was like 74.5 million. 208 million as of right now have
210
almost 210.1
million. Yeah.
Huh?
210.1 million now.
Well, I'm looking at it right now on Tucker's page. It says 208.
Well, they're fast. People are still viewing it.
Oh, no, you're right. 210. Refresh.
I know I'm right. I'm always right.
But that's how quick it's going up.
Exactly. 2 more million in the time that you looked at it and I just pulled it up. But
and it was good. Now,
give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts.
Was it? I enjoyed it. We all know Trump at this point. How much don't we know about Trump? Not a lot. And so it was. I thought it was a great one-on-one. It was a more subdued atmosphere. It was at Bedminster, and it was a more relaxed atmosphere. I thought Trump very forthcoming. I mean, you look at the guy, the guy's still got it going on. Aside from the rally talking points, that you hear, he was very open. Tucker was very open as well. Was it like fire and brimstone? No, but it was a lot of good information, and you get to see the humility of the man, and you get to see what what his plans are, and when you understand what this guy's going through, for him, he does not have to do this at all.
For him to be so calm, cool, and collected, I mean, you don't know what he's dealing with behind closed doors, but just any one of us going through this,
we would be a basket case.
Oh yeah, we'd be screaming at everybody. You kidding me? We wouldn't want to talk nicely about anybody and do anything. One of the conversations, I thought overall it was a good interview. I think, considering it was an interview that was supposed to rival a debate, which of course, 210 million views, I think it wins, obviously. But I also think that conversation should have had more debate-like questions, maybe.
Why?
I thought the question...
Because there's no debating. There's no debate anymore. To even call last night a debate is really stretching the meaning of the word.
That is true. But I thought the conversation they had about like Whirlpool, for example, I thought that was a very interesting and good discussion, because it's true. People will say, yeah, I live in these states and I have no water. Or, yeah, you have to wash your hands 5 times more. You end up wasting more and you're still getting less. So it's like that was a good discussion for people to look at that and say, yeah, actually, that is true. And for people to start paying attention to that and know that elections have consequences. Your government affects you in every way, shape, form in life, that down to how much water is coming out of your sink.
Also the message was clear. It's people at the EPA doing that, unelected individuals. These new rules for water restrictors being placed on faucets and stuff out west, Arizona and California, some of those places. Those are made by unelected bureaucrats. Those laws aren't being passed by Congress at all. So they're not actually laws.
Right.
They can be and should be broken and resisted by any means necessary.
Get loud locally, folks. Get involved.
Yes.
What did Tucker say? Take the drill to the limiter and like and get your water out. But yeah, and then obviously I think it was the political answer, but Trump talking about, yeah, it is possible Epstein killed himself. Tucker was just like,
yeah. What else was he going to say? So he said there's cases to be made on both, but he probably killed himself.
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
And Tucker ain't buying it.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Epstein did not kill himself. Anyway.
Yeah, Tucker didn't.
And go ahead.
Tucker does not believe that Epstein killed himself. I think that was pretty apparent.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I think he said it like.
But I thought it was good.
Yeah. I thought it was very good.
You got to see how this guy's handling the pressure of what's going on with the persecution that he's receiving. And I guess that's another reason why it was hard to watch the GOP, because that party has just betrayed President Trump, and in doing so betrayed all of us, because if they won't lift a finger to help one citizen who's being persecuted, having his civil rights railroaded and persecuted, they're not going to help you or me. So why would I vote for them? Why would I vote Republican anymore when all you get is just a bunch of kiss-ass wimps who at the end of the day don't have the courage of their convictions to follow through with their oath and protect and defend the constitutional rights of their constituents. They won't do it for a guy who was president for 4 years and titular head of the Republican Party. They ain't going to do it for you and me, and they don't deserve our money or our vote.
No, they certainly don't deserve our money. Vivek, and speaking of money, Vivek saying that he wants to pull the funding to Ukraine and move it to the southern border. That was good. And pointing out to Biden that money to Maui, not Ukraine. I mean, what did Biden say? $700 per person in Maui.
Maui, that whole Maui thing is sketchy as hell.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sketchy as hell with what's going on. Yeah, I mean, what the hell is the FBI doing there? And why are people whose homes weren't damaged not allowed to go back? Why have they been evicted from their home?
Oh yeah. The whole thing stinks to high heaven, and you feel bad.
Apparently, we're supposed to believe that arson is now climate change.
Oh yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. Well, that'll segue us into our Patriot and Traitor of the Week, because I have my traitor coming up that will deal with arson. But Ken, who is your Patriot of the Week?
That would have to be President Donald J. Trump once again, and I would have to include Tucker Carlson.
Sure, just take all of them.
Well, I just look at two guys who have done more to help America. Tucker with his actual journalism, and Trump with actual love of country and wanting to see our country and its citizens prosper. Nothing more patriotic than that. Love them both.
Yeah, fantastic. We applaud Donald J. Trump. And my Patriot, it's I'll give it to a group then as well. It's to all of Trump's lawyers who have all gone to the Fulton County jail to get their mugshots taken. A few of them have made their mugshots their profile pictures on Twitter. But they're patriots for going and doing it, especially Rudy Giuliani. He had a great statement. I took down the mob in New York City, and it's no different now. We're just trying to take down corrupt individuals. And it's sad that literally the guy who took down the mob is trying to be taken down by another mob. And they went in and they got their mugshots. But my whole point with that is we've been talking about how Trump says it's not me they're after you.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's true.
It's also psychological warfare. It's a huge psyop for them to be arresting these lawyers attached to Trump, because all they want to do is the same thing that you see with the Daniel Penny, to get people to stop acting in self-defense and to stop helping people, because they will prosecute you. And whether you're innocent or not, because these are innocent people, they want to make your life a living hell to have to fight it, because they know eventually not everybody can do that. And when they're going after the lawyers of these people, that is to just disenfranchise every attorney and say, I'm not touching that case. Why should I? Because then they're going to go after me. So good on these people for standing up and continuing to support Trump. Hopefully none of them flip. I don't think. Well, and how can they flip? Then it's just lying, because Trump is innocent. So patriots standing by him, being the lawyers to handle the case.
The pool guy at Mar-a-Lago flipped on him.
Yeah. Does he speak English? I don't know. Sad. Yeah. Most defendants have negotiated bond agreements with prosecutors.
That's what I would have done if I was a pool boy. No
what?
habla.
No habla.
If I was a pool boy, that's what I say. No habla. I don't.
Yeah. I don't. Yes. Ken, who is your traitor of the week?
Oh, wow. That list
so
is
hard to
long.
pick one.
Today, God, the list is so long. I would have to go. I would have to go with White Lizzo. Really, Chris Christie.
Lizzo? All right.
This bag of crap is not. I mean, he's not a serious candidate for president. He's a paid shill, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if he's taking money for this non-campaign candidate. He doesn't have anything. His whole thing is bash Trump. He's a load of crap. The guy's got no leadership skills at all. He's got zero self-control, as his girth is indicative of. And I don't like the guy. He comes across like he's Johnny Badass, but he's a pushover. And I'm glad and seeing the way that Krispy Kreme, White Lizzo has been acting these past couple of months, it proved to Trump. He even kind of mentioned it last night. Christie wanted the gig, and Trump wouldn't hire him, and that's why Christie's being such a dick.
Yeah, and you know, Christie there, I love how he basically tried to compare himself to Reagan. Did you hear that? It's like, I was a governor in a blue state, and he turned it around, and just like Reagan in California. Like, nobody. And I love Vivek.
Jersey is a crap hole.
You're gonna hug Obama. You're gonna hug Obama again. So. Oh, yeah. Vivek said to Christie, how about you give me a hug and help me get elected like you gave Obama? So that was a good singer. So my traitor of the week, you're talking about arson. A man who set fire to the Trump sign has been identified because he was such an idiot, wearing one of those bicycling GPS bracelet things, or had the app on his phone. Do you ever use that, Ken, when you go on your bicycle rides?
No.
Yes, because you never want to know. You never want to let them know where you are. Anyway, a bicyclist who vandalized and later set fire twice to a Trump 1 yard sign in a viral video over the weekend was identified by the internet sleuth. Somebody pointed out, oh yeah, you get a bunch of random people on the internet to find out who this guy is who set fire to the Trump sign, but the Secret Service can't find out whose cocaine it is in the White House. Shocker.
Can't find the pipe bombers.
Nope. On August 18th, John Kane posted footage of the vandalism and arson to his Trump sign at his Raleigh, North Carolina home on Twitter, X, whatever, offering a $1,000 reward to anybody who could identify the man in question. Tim Pool offered $5,000 reward, and Benny Johnson, I believe, offered $5,000 as well. Footage of the initial vandalism begins on August 12th, shortly after 7 a.m., and features a bicyclist riding up and kicking the lawn sign 5 times, like, Trump, Trump. Yeah. The video then transitions 4:19 a.m. on August 15th and features what appears to be the same bicyclist approaching the sign before lighting it on fire and hurrying away. 12th to the 15th. Now we go from the 15th to February 18th, which actually, it was August 18th, 4:20 a.m., when what appears to be the same bicyclist once again sets another Trump sign on fire. The guy's same lawn because he replaced it. And Kane provides a still image of the bicyclist to appear to have a distinct tattoo on his inner forearm. So it went viral, and several prominent Twitter users and I Vote America, a bunch of people, offered tons of rewards. So the total offering was $11,500 in rewards to find out who the guy was. So the man was later identified by internet sleuths according to several identifying factors, including the man's tattoos, the bicycle, and the helmet. And internet sleuths tracked down the man. He's a registered Democrat. Shocker! Using the hiking, cycling, and run tracking app Strava. That's the app.
I've got Strava.
Yeah. So White reportedly tracked 3 bicycle rides between August 12th, 15th, and 18th, which matched dates in which the sign was vandalized and set on fire. So literally, he was too
right
stupid.
past his house. He incriminated himself.
Yeah. Yeah. So
well, these guys, look, we've seen they're not geniuses by any stretch of the imagination.
And it's the whole Trump derangement syndrome so hard that how many times did this guy ride past the sign? And, we see Biden-Harris stickers, not that many, certainly not that many, especially in the free state of Florida. But there are some, you pass these people still wearing masks. You don't yell at them. You don't, if they have a sign in their yard, you don't kick their sign. You don't light it on fire. And the second time,
give them a stink eye.
You get, well, yeah, of course you do.
I'll give them the old.
And you know how many times I've seen somebody wearing a mask under their chin, and it is so hard for me not to walk by and say, nice chin strap, where's your helmet? You know how hard it is for me not to say that?
To use that one out.
I have. But it's a good one. But never, ever do people on the right want to burn down those signs because it's called free speech. And you could go even further. There in the video, I believe it was the second time that he burned down the sign, there was a flag hanging over that sign that was attached to a tree. And people were saying, well, if he lights the sign on fire, which he did, it could have caught the flag on fire, which could have caught the tree on fire, which could have gone to a house and the fire spreads across the trees, like we've been seeing all these wildfires happening. Wildfires, accidental
malicious
wildfires.
Mischief.
Malicious mischief. Up to attempted murder. Because people live in these houses, if you light that on fire, you don't know what the fire is going to do. But his Trump derangement syndrome...
He'll plead out for malicious mischief.
That's true. But the whole Trump derangement syndrome of... I can't stand the light on fire. Like to kick it, come back, see it again, do it. Another one's put in place days later, come back and do it again. That's
it's part of the K-12 indoctrination, as well as the news media. The news media have got these people programmed and believing that Trump actually broke the law somehow. And these people are devoid of reality in regards to how our system works. And again, it's never about what they did. They've created the whole new whataboutism. When you point out, well, if Trump is being charged, why isn't Stacey Abrams and Hillary Clinton being charged? Because Stacey Abrams still rejects
brought up
the outcome of the gubernatorial election. So, but they don't look at that at all. It's like they compartmentalize everything.
Yes, but Ken, didn't you hear at the Republican debate last night, Stacey Abrams is the projected winner. So yeah, it's just ridiculous. And yeah, for Tucker and Trump to bring that up, it's perfect. Yeah, it's rules for thee, not for me. We don't like you. So, and Hillary Clinton too is another one who still will, concede the election, but still never shut up that it was stolen from her.
Disgusting blob of decomposing flesh.
Yes. And as we use that segue quite well, we're going to segue into what people have been doing. I saw you posted this on X before we started recording here, just days before his car crackdown goes live. One London area sees 90% of cameras destroyed.
Well, because what he's done is he's created a zone, and I forget how many square miles it is, but there's a zone in London to where if you've got an older car, or you work in that area, you have to drive your car area, and you have an older vehicle, you got to pay a $16 a day fine because your car pollutes more, and they want people walking and biking and taking mass transit. And now that area has been expanded. And in conjunction with creating these new zones, they've installed all kinds of new cameras. Well, there's been a whole big resistance group, I forget what they call themselves, but a whole big resistance group now whose sole job is to go around and destroy and vandalize every one of those cameras, and they keep doing it. And at first, the news in London would report that, several cameras were vandalized, but it got to be every day, 12 a day, and all over, to where they just quit reporting on it, thinking if we don't report, we're not going to encourage it.
And it
doesn't. Stop. They are whoever these guys are. I love them. They're as soon as they put up a new camera, the group goes up there and destroys it. So it's awesome.
And that
I love it.
Is the resistance that is needed and good. And remember, folks, everything discussed on this podcast is solely our opinion.
Well, this is in London. Who cares what happens over there?
Well, right. But it's also not arson. It's not burning down the city. It's not burning down the buses or anything that these cameras are on.
No, it's keeping these tyrannical morons from being able to spy on individual citizens.
Exactly.
And grab their license plate number and a bill for $16 a day because they can't afford a new electric crap car that only the elite can afford over there.
Right. Yep. That and
just like here.
It is coming. It is coming this way, though. There's some report I read that by 2030, which isn't that far away, folks, they want certain cities, LA,
14.
Boston. Yeah, 14 cities. No meat, no dairy, no private cars.
It's not going to happen.
An Italian restaurant in New York City.
Miami is one of these cities that supposedly signed on to it. Do you think Miami? You think you're going to tell a Cuban he can't have pork? Good luck with that.
Good luck. And we say good luck. Yeah.
Tony Montana will come back to life.
How devoid of all thought are these people? Or do they just not care?
They're just stupid people. They are highly educated, very successful, got lots of money, and they're dumber than a box of rocks because they think that they can control everybody. They're so insecure. They're so psychologically insecure of their own position that they feel the need to control the world and control everything that you do and want to know everything that you think and say. Yeah. And it's not going to work because Again, one, it's never worked for very long, and these assholes are some of the weakest individuals who've ever tried to pull this off. It won't work long term.
Yes.
We will win.
44-32, I believe, Sean, and we'll add this one in there too.
He's an asshole.
There you go. So basically within the 44-minute mark there. Yeah, it's true. It is true. And we're sick of these people. And the whole debate last night shows again what debates are without, 2016 ever happening. And frankly, all of these people, Pence, Nikki Haley, even Tim Scott, like, dude, we don't really care. Yeah,
Timmy.
Okay, you're a Timmy. Decent enough speaker, but come on, boring, so boring. And
it was the whole thing really was boring.
I don't care.
It was boring. It was predictable.
Yeah. But yeah, it is predictable. Ridiculous. But finally, let's jump down this conspiracy theory rabbit hole. Russian warlord Prigozhin on an airplane.
Allegedly.
Hey, jinx. Yeah. You had the Sundance thing there, right? It's like, oh yeah, he totally had his meeting in Moscow and then probably didn't even leave because now he's in a gulag somewhere. And the plane took off and they had to
down the plane to make it look like he's dead.
It looked like he killed him, yeah.
The CIA did it.
Yeah, but we
don't know if he's dead, really. You don't.
Right. You don't, and you never will.
It's coming out of Russia. You got to be very suspicious of anything coming out of Russia or Ukraine.
Yes. Yeah, you have to be. And
we'll see a picture of the body.
Yeah, which they won't have. I did see on Twitter some people were posting videos from the plane crash, but, if their charred remains unidentifiable, then yeah, okay. Oh, and he didn't have any teeth. He wore dentures, so we weren't.
Well, where's the dentures?
Yeah, right. Oh, the serial number was filed off
when he hit. They were like shot out of the front of his mouth, so his dentures should be around there somewhere.
Yeah, you would think. But it's ridiculous. Any final thoughts on anything, Ken? We got a couple of minutes left here. What would you like?
It just I lament that the Republican Party has chosen to be the bad guy here. The whole party could unite behind Trump and could be just the heroes of the second revolution, and they choose to essentially be the French and just surrender, and just pretend that they're just going through the motions with this stuff. It's
more than pretending. They're the ones handing the Democrats the knife to stab Trump in the back.
Yeah, when they're complicit in the persecution of Trump, and you think I'm going to vote for him? It's no. The Republican Party needs to go the way of the Whigs. They're backstabbers. They make promises they can't keep. And as last night showed, what are they doing? Back to the same old BS. Oh, when I'm president, we're going to have a wall. Well, really, where you been?
Yeah.
You were absent for 4 years of Trump, stabbing him in the back and essentially stabbing us in the back as well. No, done. Trump or nobody. Sorry.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be Trump or nobody. Did you see that flag? There's a flag out in front of the Fulton County Courthouse that some guy just put out there this morning. Trump or death. Trump or death. 1776 to 2024. Laura Loomer posted that. Ben, if you're editing this, add that picture in there. 49-minute mark. And yeah, it's not. And Laura Loomer had to put on there, this is not a threat of violence. It's not a threat of violence. It's that the country will die because we are already dying. And Tim Pool's been saying this. A bunch of people have been saying it. We've been saying it. A civil war does not start as a hot civil war. We are in the civil war now because they want to completely silence their opposition. They are doing their damnedest to silence Trump and anybody and everybody who supports him or is around him. That's why they're going after his lawyers. And after they're done with Trump and them and anybody else they can get around to from Trump's campaign and administration, they go after the normal people. You watch. And that's why this election is so important, because regardless or not, Trump is not going to run in 2028. He's already old. And that discussion
well,
of
he
he needs
can't
somebody
run in
younger.
2028 anyway.
No. Oh, right. Yeah. They're not going to allow it to happen anyway. But it really comes down to this, folks. And pay attention, get loud locally in your community, and understand that this is for all the marbles. And we appreciate you watching. Ken, thank you. This is the last episode of me on vacation. I'm happy. Going to be happy to be home. We'll be back in the studio on Wednesday, although I kind of have the Tucker Carlson studio look here with the wood. I like that. The cabin. I like it's a good look with the lake and the picture of the nice lake there. It's very nice.
We'll just have Ben start putting that on the back of the green screen.
I know, that's true. We can do that.
The cabin environment. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, folks, make sure you go out and subscribe to the channels. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, but then take it over to Rumble and subscribe on Rumble. It helps us out. It shows that you guys are watching out there. And then share it with your friends, exactly, and make them subscribe. And when you're watching on Rumble, right next to that is the little red button that says join. Hit that red button and join the locals community. Get some fun extra little things. And we need another Kenny in the Corner rant. It's been a little while now.
I was going to do one today because I didn't think we were going to record, but I'll do one anyway.
But here we are. We record. I'm glad we got to record. Thank you all for watching. The internet's been fun to deal with. Go follow us on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at Freedom Chron Pod. Also follow on Instagram, the Freedom Chronicles. Watch us on Spotify, listen on iHeartRadio, watch us on BitChute, everything, everywhere. It's all in the link in the description. Get yourself a Get Loud Locally Freedom Cow shirt. Link in the description as well. Thank you, everybody, from the bunker up here in the lake in Georgia in the mountains. Good night.
You're watching Conservative Television of America, working hard to stick socialism where the sun don't shine.